2002. And could we have a roll call, please?
Dan Sheets.
Here.
Dave Jones is absent. Steve Woods.
Here.
Jordan Brewer.
Here.
Clark Beard.
Here.
Amanda Whitlock.
Here.
Corbin Orr.
Here.
Staff members Liz Stitzel and Kat Bell are also present, as well as attorney Jay Moore.
All right, very good. I have not read the minutes. I don't know if anybody else will look at the minutes.
When are the minutes from?
The February 26th.
I don't think we necessarily need to approve them today, so
No,
let's
nothing
just
urgent.
hold those to our next meeting.
I'll get those sent out to everyone.
And we'll move right on into our only scheduled item on the agenda today, and that is the adjustment for the subdivision of Wildcat Ridge. Liz, would you like to introduce that?
Sure. Sorry, writing at the same time. So I sent out a packet to everybody with some information. The basic gist is when a subdivision is approved that has common infrastructure, they have to put up a financial guarantee. Basically, it allows, if the developer defaults for any reason, it allows the county to go in and complete the development so that it can be used. And the ordinance states that things are supposed to happen within a 2-year time period, and then extensions can be requested through the Plan Commission in 1 year sets of time after that if infrastructure isn't completed. And the financial assurance has to be re-examined and adjusted each time so that it remains current. I think most of you were present and would recall over the last few months of last year, there was discussion about subdivisions in general, and the request with other developers coming in and speaking to us that we pay attention to what's happening within subdivisions and not violating covenants and making sure that T's are crossed and I's are dotted. And so I do a routine review on all new homes, and then as many other things as I have time to do on outbuildings and other stuff whenever I see it's within a subdivision. When I did the review on this one, this is the first lot that would be developed in this subdivision. I found a couple items, and one of them was that the financial assurance on the road was out of date and inadequate. I included in your packet a copy of the section of the ordinance that talks about the financial assurance. It's called a performance guarantee in our ordinance. I included my emails with Kevin and with the developer, letting them know what the options were, and I believe the developer at Ted Huffer is present here this morning. So I also included a copy of the estimate the developer submitted, along with a request that they receive a 1-year extension. As a note, I've made a note already in our calendars in the office a year from now to check to make sure that this is being updated, and we are going to start going through all our other subdivision files to make sure we don't have any other roads hanging out there that need to be following the same process. Kevin took a look at the quote and didn't have any objection to it. And then I also included just sort of a quick synopsis, most of which I've stated verbally. But basically, you need to decide whether or not to accept the estimate the developer has given to you, whether to grant a 1-year extension based upon it, and then what amount you want the financial assurance adjusted by. Currently, we're holding $6,250 in cash bond in the auditor's office. The estimate is $9,062.50. The ordinance requires 125% of the estimate. So when you do that math, you come up with $11,328.13. I would recommend just rounding to $11,329, just because that's a simple number to keep track of, but that's your call, not mine. If you went with that logic, the developer would need to provide the county an additional $5,079 to add to the bond held in the auditor's office in order for you to grant a 1-year extension if you wanted to do so. the ordinance gives you the leeway to decide. So those would be your decisions on whether to accept the estimate, whether to grant the 1-year extension, and then what amount you want that financial assurance adjusted by.
All right, thank you, Liz. I've read through that, looked at the ordinance, and I'm in agreement with the 11,329 that fulfills all the requirements of the ordinance. So that's the way I'm looking at it, gentlemen. Mr. Hupper, do you have anything to add with that?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I agree, Nick. I'm fine with it. Rounding up to 11,329.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yeah.
Second.
It's Corbin
Yes.
and Steve. That microphone is hard. All right, thanks.
Roll call, please, when you're ready.
All right, Dan Sheets,
Yes.
Steve Woods,
Yes.
Jordan Brewer,
Yes.
Clark Beard,
Yes.
Amanda Whitlock,
Amanda?
have we lost her?
I'm sorry, I muted myself. Yes. I'm used to doing this, but muting myself. So sorry.
That's all right.
We're glad you're there. Corbin Orr.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so you've decided on the 11,329 unanimously.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Next is we have an item for,
You may be getting to it, but I wanted to make sure you didn't skip. You need to officially decide whether to grant the 1-year extension based on that
we'll add that to
estimate
your
as well.
motion.
You didn't include it.
Yeah, I'll add that to my motion.
Okay.
Just one motion will cover everything.
I'm totally good with that. I just want to make sure it's reflected.
Hey, Dan. I'd like to request a letter stating that we've made this deposit. That's why the last time we did this, Mark wrote me a letter and said that we had made the deposit, just for my records.
Okay, yeah, I think we can.
People
send you a
change.
receipt. So we got a permanent record both sides, but it's
Yeah.
on file.
I can give you a formal letter on letterhead once you get that check in, and I will also include the date at which you need to make sure to come back and extend it again if you haven't got it finished.
Thank you, everyone. Is there any question on commitments, not commitments, but homeowner
Yeah, homeowner
association?
association. I don't know if there is or not. I haven't had it clear. Ted, are you guys pulling up together the homeowners association documents for that house?
I am the homeowners association at this point.
Okay, so then the question remains, and I think you've read through the covenants as well. I don't feel, so for the rest of the board, the covenants in the subdivision state there should be a homeowners association created for common maintenance of areas. There is drainage on the lot that's being developed that is supposed to be maintained commonly by all 4 lots. And this was the solution the drainage board accepted for permanent maintenance. The covenants state that a homeowners association is supposed to be created to deal with those common areas. They do not, however, do house development reviews until all 4 lots are sold, but it's supposed to exist. I don't feel comfortable with the direction the board has given me over the last few months, and with other developers coming and talking to us, with just ignoring that clause, or even whether it should be ignored. So I felt the board should probably discuss that with Mr. Huffer and offer direction to me in general as to at what point I worry about homeowners with common infrastructure and what you'd like to happen here. So we have a permit hung up in the middle of this, so I know whether that permit is waiting on something or if what your pleasure is, basically.
But then what's happened, there's been 3 subdivisions here in the last few years where homeowner association was never formally approved. It started out kind of like yours, the guy was in charge of it, but the owners, once it sold out, they never got around to developing homeowner association, and the county's gotten stuck in the middle by having to maintain things until we could build homeowners for that. That's caused some problems. So what we want to do is somehow, you could still add all the lots, but maybe add her to it, so that we have this continuing homeowners association, or at least they know about it.
I think
they have to
Is
commonly
it spelled out in
maintain
the covenants?
it. Pardon?
Is mine spelled out in the covenants?
I don't have a copy of the covenant.
No, it has to.
Do you recall if there's a mechanism for them to put money toward it every year to maintain it?
No, as long as I'm the majority landowner. I'm the architectural committee and everything until there's more homeowners owning property than me, and then it becomes we haven't met that goal yet.
I just don't want to end up in a situation like we've had
Right.
with other substations. Jay, have you read the covenants? Do you have any comments?
No, not.
I think I'm working from memory, but I think on the first page, it talks about the fact that clearly the homeowners association does not do any kind of development review until all 4 lots are sold. And then there's a whole paragraph, I think maybe on the 3rd page of the covenant, that talks about the homeowners association itself and the common maintenance. It's highlighted in orange. It's you.
The only common area they have is, there are no common areas, correct? Except there is.
The drainage,
The drainage is on a lot,
but benefiting all.
but
four.
it's a,
And the lot it's on is the one that's sold.
yeah.
But no, the road is to be dedicated to the county, so it won't be common, and there is no other, common green space or anything. Now, I don't know, there are some references in the documents that maybe the Huffers might eventually, and I don't know what his intent is now, but might eventually plan to develop some more lots on this someday, so I don't know if there may be common space someday, but there's not now.
It doesn't have a triggering mechanism. Some covenants have a triggering mechanism that when you get to a certain percentage of the lots, it kicks in. This doesn't have that.
If it had said that, I would just follow it.
At this point in time, and it's also not uncommon for the developer to retain control, and you really don't have the homeowners association functioning until the homeowners, the individual lot owners are a certain percentage, usually
Right.
majority.
I understand that.
In this case, the only thing for the homeowners association to do would be to levy a fee for maintenance of the common drainage facilities, right?
I believe that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. It would seem to me that what would be nice to have done either now or at the time of the next lot sale, to establish that when the Huffers no longer are the majority owners, how it's going to be assessed. In other words, is it going to be assessed on bare ground lots, or is it only on lots that are improved? And then is, how do you divide the cost? Is it per lot? Is it per lot? Is it based on the ratio of lot size? Or maybe since it's drainage, it makes sense to make it based on their impervious surface. Now, the trouble with that is that changes too. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Although I would think, for my purposes.
The easiest way is just do it per lot.
Flat rate, yeah.
Yeah. Second easiest way is do it on, because it would stay fixed, is it's based on, lot size. In other words, but in any event, it would be nice to see that done. it needs to happen for sure by the time the Huffers no longer are the majority owner. So I would think it either needs to be done now or before the next lot. And really, we're not talking about a lot of heavy lifting in terms of
Fairly simple.
putting the agreement
form.
together. Yeah.
I guess at this time, I got a lady that's been getting jacked around.
Don't put your hands on my, it won't help. Okay.
She's been getting yanked around pretty hard to get a permit. I'd like to get her permit so she can get started
I think we can do that today
before
with
we
just
end
a
up.
commitment from you that, and what I was thinking about yesterday is if you commit to going ahead, working with her, forming this, we'll go ahead and prove everything today, get her a building permit, get her down the road, but you won't be able to sell another lot or get a building permit on a lot until this is in place.
Yeah.
We
That's
just
fine.
had 3 subdivisions, it's been a nightmare trying to clean. this
Yeah,
thing
and that's
up.
fine with me. I'd just like to
Okay.
get her started.
I think that's a reasonable approach, because at that point, again, the developer is no longer the majority owner, it'll be 50%.
Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't know about any of this until after the homeowner told me. Liz has done nothing to contact me and say, we got a problem. You know, she just denied the permits. Instead of contacting me and saying, hey, we got a gap here. I don't understand this letter that you got from Mark when we originally did this. So, you know, we lost almost 2 months because of no communication.
What's the board think?
Let me interject in that. We've had 2 months of pandemic. On top of this thing, where we.
I know, but
down.
you know.
So you gotta take that and roll that into the mix.
Yeah,
But I think indirectly, Liz has already admitted that maybe some of the administrative procedures needed some correction, and she's already putting that into motion.
I would
Going
also-
forward.
I would also note that I did not deny the permit. I said that the permit requester listed the items they needed to obtain and get back to me. Until I got there on that 1 week, calls from Ted and them saying that the 2 of them weren't able to create or take care of those items. It was a list. I, as of yet, have still not denied that permit. I've just been waiting for the items that we need.
Thank you, Jay.
And I did not feel like the board gave me leeway to ignore the issues on the subdivision based on what's happened with other developers and situations.
Well, we're moving forward now, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the solution Dan came up with is probably our most reasonable solution at this point.
I have no problem with it, and I assuming that's the board's direction, I'll put a flag in this file that there'll be no more lots until the homeowners association.
Do you need a motion on that?
I think there probably should be, so it's
I'll
clear
make a
for
motion
everyone.
that, until we get something worked out on the homeowners association, we won't issue any more building permits out of this first one.
We have a second? You're agreeable with that, Mr. Hubbard?
yeah, I think that's fine. And in the future, I'd like to be notified if there's a problem with the subdivision that I'm in charge of, not be told second or third hand by somebody else.
Who is my second?
Corbin.
And Ted, so you know, I've already put a note. Technically, it's not in the file yet. I wanted to wait for the board to make their motion. But I typed it on my computer. It'll go in the front of your file, highlighting the next date at which a review will be due, and with your information with it. So
And when you send him the letter giving him his acknowledging payment,
yes, I'm going to
then
include
you
that
can
date.
give him the date,
Yeah.
you can.
And
the
not
date
just
that you're gonna be due for your next
That's
review.
fine.
and not just for you. I'm concerned, having found this, that there may be others out there from before me. So I'm going to start going through them as well and trying to make sure that anything like this is cleaned up before we have somebody with a permit in the middle. It's not a situation I want to be in either. So
All right. We have a motion on the second, and a roll call, please.
Dan Sheets,
Yes.
Steve Woods,
Yes.
Jordan Brewer,
Yes.
Clark Beard,
Yes.
Amanda Whitlock,
Yes,
Corbin Orr.
Yes.
All right. I appreciate your direction.
All right, that concludes.
So you could issue her permit then today?
I don't have an email with me. There were 3 items I still needed. Dan, do you remember I copied you? 2 of them we've taken care of here, but the first item was something else, not related to covenants. So I don't.
It was a setback item, whether the box was a 5-foot offset or it was an actual
Yes,
corner.
and she's replied that they've staked actual corners, not 5-foot offsets.
That's what I thought when I was out there, but I didn't remember seeing any
Yeah.
other information on the.
Yes, she replied late yesterday, so, we will move forward with the permit, but I still have to go out there and assign an address and do measurements. They just finished the staking, and she confirmed that yesterday. I have meetings today. I told her I would try to get out there today if I could, but if I can't, it'll be Tuesday, and then she'll be able to
Would
get the
you,
permit to confirm that.
Would you be all right if I went out and did that? Let's get this done.
Totally, the front setback needs to be checked, and then the side, it'll be the, to the right of the house if you're facing it.
Just put that all, it's not in this email, put it in your email, and we'll go out, we can shoot it in.
I don't know if I can, you have an iPad, I don't know if I can assign you an inspection. I'll look, but I think we have a 9:30 meeting in here, and then after that was good. I'll run out with you if you want, it's just, I don't know what the
If you're
schedule is.
busy, we'd be glad to go do that.
Okay.
We could actually shoot it in on the rover, give you all the information of what we collected.
Sounds like it's gonna get done today, one more.
Nope, I'm good with it, that's the only thing,
it's gonna get done one way or the other today.
I appreciate
I think
it.
we're at that conclusion, so
I'd
that's
just
the
like
only
to get
thing.
that in her hands, so.
Yeah.
We'll go out there as soon as we can get out there, probably up this morning.
Okay, perfect,
Shoot that all in and get it back to you.
Can you copy me on that, Dan?
Yeah.
Please.
perfect.
All right, that should conclude our meeting unless anybody has anything else.
Of course, this is the only business we can do, but I just want to get it out. We'll talk. Make me think of we talk about address. We have some addresses that you've been finding change and so on, that were wrong.
We changed about 100 of them in February,
Yeah.
60 were Commissioner's Road name changes, and about 40 were.
I've got a gentleman that is asking for a waiver. He's lived there for 30 years or whatever. He says, I don't want to change my address on my passports and everything else. When it's a mistake, it was made somewhere along the line, the address, if you call it up at 911, it's called, it'll show up on the opposite side of the road, but there's nothing on the opposite side of the road other than his house on this side.
There's another house.
But I think he has a valid, I personally would not want to be changing all my
Thinking
credit
about
cards,
that.
every bill.
Well, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
I think we have a temporary solution.
So-
We'll talk about this about.
Nothing we can do right now.
I
I just
can
want
put
to
it
bring
in our
that up
next
for that thought.
Yeah, I can put it on our next
Okay.
meeting agenda to
That's,
discuss formally.
that's fine. That's what I want to do.
I think we're, assuming nothing changes with COVID, we're gonna try to have a July meeting, and I think we'll have, they'll come in 4 subdivisions at a rezoning, and then I can put that on the agenda as well.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
So,
Second adjourn. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Bye, Amanda.
bye, thanks, guys.
Have a good day, Amanda.